Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a simple but powerful truth: success in life is never an accident. It is the result of clarity, focus, and persistent action. Every great achievement begins with a goal, and the quality of your goals determines the quality of your future. The first step to crushing any goal is clarity. Most people drift through life without ever deciding what they truly want. They confuse activity with achievement. They work hard, but without direction. But clarity changes everything. When you become absolutely clear about what you want, you activate your mind in a powerful way. It's like switching on a spotlight in a dark room. You begin to see opportunities, resources, and solutions that were invisible before. I remember when I was young, working as a laborer, broke and with no education. Someone told me that success starts with a clear goal, and for the first time I wrote one down: to become a salesperson and earn more than minimum wage. That clarity transformed me. Within months I had a sales job. Within a year, I was one of the top performers. That was the turning point of my life, and it taught me that clarity is the foundation of success. When you are vague, you drift. When you are clear, you soar. So the very first requirement for crushing any goal is to define exactly what you want in precise, measurable terms. But clarity alone is not enough. The second great step is to write your goals down. There is a mysterious power in the act of putting pen to paper. Dreams that live only in your head are fragile, easily forgotten, and easily abandoned. But when you write your goals on paper, you make them real. You take them from the world of imagination and bring them into the world of commitment. In fact, every study of successful people finds that those who write their goals are far more likely to achieve them than those who don't. I recall once meeting a young professional who told me he wanted to be financially independent, but he had never written it down. I encouraged him to write his goal in clear numbers and a clear date. He finally wrote, "I will save 50,000 by December 31. That single act ignited a fire within him. His thinking shifted. He started making better decisions, cutting unnecessary expenses, and seeking new opportunities. Within 2 years, he had exceeded his target. Writing your goals is a declaration to yourself and to the world that you are serious. It transforms a wish into a commitment, and that commitment will pull you forward through challenges and setbacks. Once your goals are clear and written, the third step is to break them into manageable parts. Big goals can seem overwhelming, like mountains too tall to climb, but every mountain is conquered one step at a time. When you divide your goals into smaller steps, you make them achievable. Suppose your goal is to write a book. At first it feels daunting, but if you decide to write 1 page a day, within a year you will have written a full manuscript. That is the power of breaking down big dreams into small, consistent actions. I learned this lesson when I set the goal of building my speaking career. At first, it felt impossible. The competition was fierce, and I had no reputation. But I broke the process down: 1 call to an organizer a day, 1 speech to a small group, 1 practice session to improve delivery. Slowly, those steps added up. Within years, I was speaking to audiences of thousands. The mountain no longer seemed impossible because I focused on the next step, not the peak. If you want to crush your goals, take them apart piece by piece, and then begin with the first step. Now, when you have the steps, the fourth requirement is prioritization. Not all steps are equal. The truth is, 20% of your tasks will produce 80% of your results. Successful people identify the vital few tasks that make the biggest impact, and they focus their energy there. Too many people spend their days caught in low-value activities. Checking emails, scrolling social media, attending pointless meetings. These tasks give the illusion of progress but produce little. If you want to crush your goals, you must constantly ask, what is the one thing I can do right now that will move me closest to my goal? Make that task your priority, and discipline yourself to do it first. I once coached a business owner who was drowning in paperwork, but failing to grow his business. When we analyzed his time, we discovered that his most valuable activity was making sales calls. Yet, he was spending less than an hour a day on it. Once he shifted and made sales his top priority, his revenue doubled within months. That is the power of focusing on the few things that matter most. The fifth step is consistent action. Dreams without action are illusions. You can be clear, you can write, you can plan, but unless you take action every day, nothing happens. The difference between winners and dreamers is discipline. Winners do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They understand that consistency compounds. Just as drops of water can carve stone, small daily actions carve the path to greatness. I have met countless people with incredible ideas, but only a handful ever acted on them. Those who did became successful. Those who waited, doubted, or procrastinated never did. The secret is simple: begin now. Take one step today, then another tomorrow, and keep going. Even imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Momentum builds when you act, and the more you act, the easier it becomes. But as you take action, you will face obstacles. That brings us to the sixth step: overcoming challenges. No worthy goal is achieved without resistance. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. The road to success is never straight. It is full of curves and bumps. What separates achievers from quitters is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to see failure not as the end, but as feedback. Every setback carries a lesson. When you analyze it, learn from it, and adapt, you turn obstacles into stepping stones. I remember when I tried to start a business that failed miserably. I lost money, time, and confidence. But instead of giving up, I asked what went wrong, and what can I do differently next time? That analysis prepared me for the next opportunity, which became a success. Every obstacle strengthens you if you face it with the right mindset. Along the way, you must also learn and adjust, which is the seventh step. Flexibility is vital. Too many people cling rigidly to their first plan, even when it's not working. But the most successful people are learners. They seek feedback, readjust their strategies, and keep improving. Think of Thomas Edison, who tested thousands of materials before discovering the right filament for the light bulb. Each failure was simply feedback guiding him toward the right solution. Your goals may remain fixed, but your strategies must remain flexible. Be willing to pivot, to adapt, to refine. That is how you accelerate your progress and avoid wasting years on the wrong path. Another powerful force in goal achievement is visualization and belief, the eighth step. Your mind is a goal-seeking mechanism. When you imagine your success vividly and emotionally, you program your subconscious mind to move you toward it. Top athletes visualize their performance before stepping into the arena. Entrepreneurs imagine their companies thriving long before the first sale. Belief fuels persistence. When you see yourself as capable, worthy, and destined to succeed, you develop the courage to act boldly. And I used to picture myself speaking to thousands, long before I had even spoken to dozens. That image pulled me forward, shaping my actions and building my confidence. Visualization makes the invisible visible, and belief turns doubt into determination. The ninth step is persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Genius will not. Education will not. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The truth is, most people quit too soon. They give up when things get hard, when results are slow, or when setbacks occur. But those who persist, who keep going when others stop, inevitably win. Every success story is a story of persistence. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before someone agreed to serve his fried chicken recipe. Walt Disney went bankrupt multiple times before creating his empire. These individuals succeeded not because they never failed, but because they refused to quit. If you stay in the game long enough, eventually the tide turns in your favor. And finally, the 10th step is to take action now. The time for hesitation is over. Too many people say, someday I'll set goals. Someday I'll start my business. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday is not a day of the week. The only time you have is now. Decide today to crush your goals. Write them down, break them apart, prioritize, and take action immediately. Do not wait for the perfect time. It will never come. The best time to begin was yesterday. The second best time is now. My friends, success is not reserved for the lucky few. It is available to anyone who is clear about what they want, who commits in writing, who plans, prioritizes, acts, adapts, believes, persists, and refuses to quit. That means it is available to you. The future is yours to shape. The goals you set today will create the life you live tomorrow. Do not leave it to chance. Do not drift. Decide, commit, act, and persist until you succeed. That is how you crush any goal. That is how you create the life of your dreams.